what I want to ask you about is sort of how the league's business is doing, because you run the business side of the operation, and it's an enormous business, of course, but it's growing and changing in a lot of ways.
It really is. Our business today, Cory, is as good as it's ever been, quite frankly. When you look at all of the metrics, attendance is up.
Prove it. Everyone says that. Prove it.
Exactly. Well, we've set attendance records for the last 3 years straight. This year, we're on pace for another record attendance. Our viewership, we're seeing.
So let's start with attendance. What's the key to that? Is the key to make the teams that aren't going to be, we're back to where we were in the 80s, where you had 3 teams competing for the championship, where you had the Celtics and the Lakers.
I think there's more than that.
But we've had the Cavaliers and the Warriors in 3 championships in a row. We might end up there again this year. As a Warriors fan, I certainly hope half of that happens. What's the key to getting attendance up?
Well, I think one is the product on the court. As you mentioned, the game and the amount of talent on the court is better than we've ever seen. You mentioned the Golden State Warriors and the Cleveland Cavaliers, but the Houston Rockets, the Toronto Raptors, the Boston Celtics, they are right there.
Agreed.
Neck and neck, top of the standings. And so the competition on the court, and even teams that are coming up right behind that, there are these talented players that everybody wants to see. So there's literally talent on every team. So when all these teams go and play in these markets, I think people have an amazing appetite to want to see them. I also think the other thing that's happening is our teams are doing an amazing job with the in-arena experience, using technology, making the experience seamless for fans.
Give me an example of something that's different there.
Yeah, so premium seating and the way that customers come in, they're able to have a really nice meal. They're able to sit courtside.
Yeah.
They're able to entertain guests. And so the billions of dollars.
So it's like the fancy restaurants for the fanciest seats, for example. I see that in Oakland. I've seen it in Boston. I've seen it in other places.
Yes, but there's also different products for different fans as well. So for the fans in the upper bowl, what our teams have been doing is investing in these large jumbotron screens, so that even if you're the furthest seat away in the house, you're in a good seat, because if you want to, you're part of the live experience, but these huge jumbotron screens make you feel like you're very close to the action.
I assume you've been at the Golden One Arena in Sacramento?
I have. I was there for opening night.
It's incredible.
It is unbelievable, the amount of technology that they've incorporated into that. One of the things that I love is the crowdsourcing on the temperature control.
Yeah.
So you download your app, and if you're feeling cool in an area, and if enough people in that area say turn up the heat, all of a sudden the temperature rises in that section. So those are the kinds of things that are enhancing the experience.
If only that worked with shooting guards. Still got Vince Carter bringing it at 40. I'm also curious. However, there has been this issue in the league of some injuries. I mean, when Porzingis' knee goes out, you have arguably one of the most important franchises, if not the most important franchise in basketball, the New York Knicks. Some have valued it at least as the most important franchise. He's out for a year. That has got to hurt the business of the NBA.
Sure. We've had a bunch of, unfortunately, high-profile incidences of injuries this year. I would say, though, the numbers say, in general, the number of injuries is not up. There have been some high-profile ones, and they're always terrible for a team, for the fans to deal with. But I'd say in the case of the Knicks and in the case of Boston when Gordon Hayward went down, it gives other teammates really do step up. And but you can't replace a player like Porzingis.
Is there not? You guys have done a really interesting job by lengthening the season and shortening the number of back-to-backs.
Yes.
Again, from the business perspective, is there an argument to have fewer games in the season so that players can stay healthier?
Well, there's no data or evidence that suggests that if we were to do fewer games or the amount of games is what's driving player injury. So I'd say no. What we have done within the existing framework is we have looked at, we've eliminated 4 and 5s. We've reduced the number of back-to-backs.
4 games in 5 nights.
4 games in 5 nights.
For the non-basketball geeks out there, yeah.
That's right. And that's a big thing. For the first time in history, we have not had teams play 4 games in 5 nights, and we've reduced back-to-backs to an all-time low. So the players are feeling, they've told us that they appreciate that. They're feeling it gives their bodies more time to rest. But we continue to study this issue, and whatever we can do to adjust the game and the schedule to reduce injuries, we're going to do.